I'm very sorry, everybody. Now, this is the Jirard, the Completionist. This is his video. So let's look at the tweet first. I have not watched the video. I want to look at the tweet first. Um, hey, everyone. I know you've all had questions. I want to assure you that all the funds that we've raised together through Indieland and the Open Hand Foundation, Open Palm, it's like you smack somebody with an open hand. I don't know. I don't want to criticize. They are now safe and accounted for and have been donated. 600K went to a leading charity that specializes in FTD, like the florist company, and was matched for a total of 800K to fight dementia. I am deeply sorry. I want to apologize to everyone affected by this situation. I hope this video brings some clarity and transparency to the recent allegations. Moving forward, this will be my only video response on this topic. Thank you for your patience and support. He hasn't been updating his YouTube, by the way. I've already, did my spiel on Jirard, and I mean, it's been all over the news that he has paid back a limited amount, of money of 600K, nothing more, nothing less. That money cannot be spent on anything else. So here are my responses. Now, please credit your attorney's secretary who wrote this tweet for you and buy her or him an actual Christmas present as a thank you. And the other one I wrote is, "What would Mama say?" So, so now we're going to look at this. I have not seen this video. I want to watch it in full. Let's see if we can get that to work. Look at that apologetic face. I'm sorry. So sorry. So I'll talk over this a little bit, maybe. So let's go.
Made against me, my family, and our charitable organization, the Open Hand Foundation, asserting charity fraud and more. I'm here today to provide clarity and transparency to set the record straight.
Really?
I want to make it 100% clear. At no point in the Foundation's history was there any criminal or financial fraud.
Really?
None.
Really?
I also want to touch on
but you didn't donate any money
a lot of
at
folks
all.
have been saying that if I didn't do anything wrong, that I should have said something sooner, or that my conversation with the accusers was considered my full side of the story. But when there is allegation after allegation being made, it takes a long time to gather the evidence and facts to refute claims. This will be my only video response on this matter.
Yes.
I can confirm that as of Wednesday, November 29th, 2023,
right,
the Open Hand Foundation has donated $600,000 to the Association for Frontotemporal
Yeah, but there's more money than that.
However,
everybody said this in the tweets.
It did take too long to get to this moment, and for that, I am sorry. The money is now in good hands to make a lasting impact.
Let me just say this. I mean, I think even Mudahar pointed this out. By the way, he seems like a nice guy, but Mudahar, doesn't it sound like a rhythm? Mudahar, 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 right? Because my name doesn't roll off the tongue. But you think of Mudahar, right? Mudahar, Mudahar, Mudahar. Anyway, you could just sing the song. Mudahar, 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 Mudahar. You know, that's his theme song right there. Just say his name many times. That's the theme song. Anyway, Mudahar has been calling out the bullshit. And yeah, I think he's pointed out some of this stuff already. But yeah, good on him. Review Tech too. This is shit. I Fine Sauces Hope better not have done this. I don't think they did any charities this year, but they better not have done stuff like this.
For more information on the donation, there will be a link down below that you can check out. Now, to further provide context on the Open Hand Foundation, my mother got sick when I was young.
Yeah, way to do this to your mother.
With frontotemporal degeneration.
You spat on your mother on top of the charities.
Undiagnosed or misdiagnosed. I was 10 years old when signs of her dementia started showing up. She was officially diagnosed with FTD 4 years later when I was 14.
Oh. She died when I think of FTD, I think of the florist company, where you deliver flowers.
15 years.
Sorry if I'm behind the times.
Experiencing the struggles and hardships of caring for someone with dementia, we decided to start a foundation in her honor. Before this, my family had been donating money as well as spending time with my mother, academics, and doctors to help them with their own understanding of FTD. My father runs an annual golf tournament.
Yeah.
And this golf event hasn't always
what kind of father is he?
Component,
what kind of bastard is he?
Been in dedication to my mother to bring awareness to FTD.
Yeah, but then the money was not just sitting there.
At these events, but beyond giving an occasional speech, I was not and still am not involved in any of the event planning. In
Well,
2018,
I
I did two
don't
things
think
I'm
that's
passionate
true.
about: indie games and charity work, and started IndieLand to highlight the indie game community.
I mean, if your father's running this, that means you're somewhere involved. I mean, you're not just some dumbass. You're not some silver spoon kid, right? I mean, you've been running. You have a team of people with your YouTube channel, and I don't know if you have Patreon or what you do to stay in. But I mean, you got what, the silver and gold YouTube button awards. So you're not like me. You're not trying to figure it out. You've got to figure it out. So you had to have known something. So let's keep going.
And raise money in honor of my mom for a good cause.
Mm.
During several recent IndieLand events, press interviews, and podcasts, I went on record saying where the money was going to and that the Open Hand Foundation had worked with various organizations. At different points, the foundation had been in communication with or considered several of them, but it was not appropriate for me to make such statements when final actions had not yet been taken. The Open Hand Foundation's goal was to make a large...
You mean when an attorney was not present, some sort of counsel. So yeah, you didn't get your counsel. Now you got your counsel, and you had to really drum up this legal speech. Anyway, let's go.
large impact by donating the money to the right place. And a lot of the conversations that were had with various organizations involved the funds not being restricted or came with extremely high administrative costs. Look, any way you say this, action needed to be taken. And to that point, I'm sorry. I'm disappointed that I was not more straightforward regarding the foundation's timeline for making donations, and that I made statements potentially implying donations were made when they had not yet been. It took too long for clear action to occur, and I apologize for all of this. But such inaction was not done for any selfish or malicious reasons. I want to take this opportunity to apologize to any developers, publishers, content creators, and special guests who were involved with the various events. I'm also very sorry to this year's IndieLand sponsor. Their team was incredibly supportive and were a great partner to work with. Most importantly, I want to apologize to anyone who ever donated over the years who felt they were wronged or led astray by any of this. Dementia is an incredibly important cause to me and my family, and so many of you at home. Advocating for more awareness has...
I said, I think I said this to one of my fellow YouTubers, Rome. I said, the best kind of doctor that could cure you of, because he's got cancer, he's got to go through chemotherapy. I said the best kind of doctor you can ever have is one who has gone through cancer and survived. A cancer survivor doctor would be like the best doctor for you because he knows what it's like. A better doctor for me is someone who has hemophilia and can treat my hemophilia, maybe even cure me with enough time and research. So I can understand the people that donated money to this guy. It's like, oh, well, his mother is sick. He would never just go against his principles or his philosophies if his mother was sick. What? That doesn't make any sense. Well, this is the sense that we're making of this. It's like, what the fuck?
Has been such an important part of keeping...
Unless his mother never had dementia.
As the Open Hand Foundation board is currently restructuring, I am taking this time to step away from my role as a board member. I am no longer a part of the Open Hand Foundation. For the foreseeable future, should the event continue, IndieLand will solely be focused on highlighting indie games. There will be no charity component. I love helping the indie game community and working with developers. And if there are developers out there that want me to play their games, I would...
Hold on, let me see. Okay. I mean, I think Vinny Vinesauce will show the receipts, if he ever asked. Some people, I can understand. There are some trolls, but if anybody ever asks, I think Vinny can show the receipts. I think there's enough people talking about it to say that the money does go to the proper cause, That's the whole other thing, but yeah, you just...
I would be honored to continue to do so. I would now like to take a deeper look and respond to some of the many accusations made. Much of this is going to be dry and complicated because we're dealing with business finances, tax-exempt nonprofits, the IRS, and legal issues. But serious allegations need a serious and thorough response. I will also have included links to official government websites, reliable third-party sources, and copies of relevant Open Hand Foundation documentation related to all these topics in the description down below. Let's start with the Open Hand Foundation's formation. When my mother passed away in 2013, we donated her brain and spinal cord to the same academics and doctors we worked with to further advance their research. There's a link in the description to her autopsy report that confirms her brain and spinal cord were both donated to science. This was an extremely personal decision for us. Because of my family's history, we had considered all legacy efforts that we had personally made to be a part of the Open Hand Foundation's history, which ultimately led to its creation.
What I learned too is that this wasn't just one time, this was several times. So for many years, that money had been like held up somewhere. And all they, the other YouTubers, they showed the receipts saying that he didn't give shit. Not even a couple of bucks, not even a couple of $100. You know what I mean? Like, I think Tammy Faye Baker, this is before your time, so some of you don't remember. Baker and Tammy Faye, I do believe they were the ones that were working with United Way. Meanwhile, they had these luxurious things, and like, where the hell did they get all these trips and these planes, and where the hell did they get this shit? So, I mean, if nobody had pointed this out, this would have been the next thing that's going to happen. Like, where does he get all this stuff?
Now, here's another glaring problem. If you go back to any of their filings, for instance, this is from 2016, you can see that when they check their organizations, they call themselves a Section 501c3 exempt private foundation. The problem with this is, according to the IRS, they actually have two designations, private foundations and public charities. Generally, organizations that are classified as public charities have an active program of fundraising and receive contributions from many sources, including the general public.
In 2014, the Open Hand Foundation was originally registered as a 501c3 private foundation, which under the law is a nonprofit corporation formed to carry out charitable, religious, literary, educational,
but you're omitting some other paperwork out. You have to be omitting paperwork out. That was causing the problem to begin with. You're showing a couple of pieces of paper here, which is fine if you were starting out, but you hadn't been starting out. You've been doing this for years.
They filed to terminate the foundation's private status. For more information on the difference between private foundations and public charities, and on private foundations terminating their own statuses, I have provided links to the IRS website down below. In March of 2016, the IRS acknowledged the receipt for termination of private status and indicated
I'm probably just going to watch half of this.
The necessary requirements the foundation must follow in order to comply with the IRS code. A copy of those notices are also down below with supporting IRS documentation.
What does he stick to that beard, by the way?
Acknowledgement of the private status termination, the foundation was now required to operate like a public charity as described in the IRS code for a period of 16 months. However, the foundation was also instructed to continue to file as if it were a private foundation. Any possible issues pertaining to such filings can only be considered clerical errors and are in no way intended to be misleading, fraudulent, or criminal in any nature. Since that time, the Open Hand Foundation has been compliant in...
But can you afford to make those clerical errors? My sister once told my mom, here's how you can cheat the IRS how I'll fill out these forms for you for your taxes. And my mom didn't like my sister doing that. It's my youngest sister. So I can imagine, between him and his dad, getting a good accountant, for like, I don't know, like what, H&R? Something probably better than H&R Block, but, figuring out how to crunch those numbers and work it out so that the government doesn't see this shit for years. I don't know. This is just my conspiracy thinking.
The status is directly reflected on the IRS's own website. I'll link to you where you can search for yourself to see the foundation currently has a public charity status.
Many crimes, especially fraud, go undetected. And unless you do something especially egregious on your filings...
Let me see. We're going to go ahead. I'm going to skip ahead here. Okay. Hold on.
Public support, the golf fundraiser revenue, and
yeah,
Indie Land revenue.
We're counting those golf events.
Include costs for the golf fundraiser and Indie Land.
Well, we seem to be having some buffering problems. I'm on low speed internet for the rest of the month or at least until Christmas Day. But I mean, after looking at this, I just don't. I'm not convinced. You know what I mean? Like $600,000. Now, according to Mudahar, there must be more than that. So everybody's been talking about this. He is the kind of guy that beautiful or working women, I don't know, beautiful women, but working women, working class women, especially like the HR women, like the kind of cunty Karen like broads that just kind of look at you up and down, they would look at me and think pedophile, Hitler's son, Michael Richards' kid, John Wayne Gacy's nephew, or Ted Bundy Jr. They would think the worst of me, right? They look at Mr. Friendly over here, Mr. Happy, smiley face, and think, "Oh, this guy's so jolly. Look, he's shaking hands with everybody, and he's got his arms around all the people. And look at this, and his father's a great person. Therefore, this guy must be everything." And he's just not. He's just not. Now, these are narratives, but don't judge someone but what they look like on the outside. You know what I mean? Like I still remember when I went to the what is it, the Ice House comedy, and one of the comedians said, "Oh, look at this guy. He's some sort of killer." I mean, I hope he was joking around because there are people who have said that to me to my face, and we're not comedians. So I don't know, man. I'm gonna say what I said before on Review Tech USA's video. If it's your own fault, if you have nothing but impatience for this man, but if you give him anything else more than, if you give him anything more than your impatience for Jirard, it's your own fault. Okay, you give him Patreon money, you give him subscribe star money, or some sort of membership fee, or donations. This is your own fault. Now, there are stupid people like that. There are stupid people who followed Mr. Girl or $3 Theater, Matt Jarbo, or who follow other people. And some people who still like Tim Pool. And Tim Pool fucked people over with his censorship. Okay? And he was right wing. Yeah. So that's all I got to say. All right, piss off. I'm going to probably make one more video for QLEX 3D Super Mario RPG. So stay tuned for that.